Yo, 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 welcome back. Welcome back. This is the Code and the Static, and I am your co host, Xavier. This is my other co host right here, Nate the Great. What's up, Nate?
What's good, man? It's good to be back. Man, how
Yes, it
long has it
is.
been, X? How
Man,
long?
it's been a couple of weeks, man. It's been a couple of weeks. Which is crazy because Nate was under the weather. Now I'm under the weather and I'm getting back. So I'm sure everybody knows it's been like a bug going around or something, but it's been hitting everywhere in America, and I got it. And like I said, I'm coming up out of it. But hey, we back, man. We better than ever. We're ready to throw out some more of these bangers. Today, Nate, we're getting into a little something different, man. Episode 7. You see the ticker down there. Regret.
Yes, sir.
Um,
Yes, sir.
so first of all, real quick, how you been, man?
I've been good, man. Yeah, man. Just still, still walking it out, man. This new year, with this new schedule that I got with
Yeah,
school, about to start another class Monday, and then I got about to start a third week of work at a new job. So it's
grinding,
been it's been yeah, man, just been grinding, bro. And
grinding.
you
That's what's up.
even
That's what's up.
but we hear it, man. Like this is what it is. We talk about commitment and we talk about growth and maturity. I believe that all that is staying committed and not giving up, and what is a will is a way. So here we are, So
Time to it's time to
let's
make a
get it.
wake. We got the will to do it. So
That's right.
like I said, episode 7 is called regret. So typically what we do is, we throw out some questions that, kind of talks about the topic of regret. And hopefully in this episode we can help you guys decode that static of, let's say you've had regrets on something you've done, or maybe you've had regrets on something you haven't done or you never got around to doing, whether that be guilt or procrastination or whatever the case may be. So Nate, real quick, I guess we can start with like a little cold open, as I used to say. Uh, what do you think is the biggest difference between regretting something you did versus something you didn't do?
Man, you know, so I think both of them are kind of equal in a way. But I think that if I'm gonna weigh one and say that it weighs more than the other, I think regret of not doing something is the weighs more. Because I think with regret, when it comes to regretting doing something that we did already, we saw the trajectory, we saw what happened after we did it.
Yeah.
But the regret of not doing something has like endless possibilities. There's endless questions, endless doors. Like there's a lot of what ifs attached to it, and if only if, and I should have, and I shouldn't have, and you know what I mean. I feel like it's kind of capped off when we talk about regrets in terms of you know I regret doing that action. You know, most 9 times out of 10, we regret doing something is because we saw the outcome and we know that there was a better outcome
Yeah.
if we had chose the other road. Um, and then the other kind is like, well, dang, what if I decided to do this? Like, what if I decided to take a risk and try to do this thing that I was scared of doing? Things like that. How about you, man? Like,
Yeah.
how you feel about that?
I was gonna say the same thing. Just living a life of leaving it to chance, living a life of, like you said, what if? Like, dang, like if you do it, what that looks like. But I don't think a lot of people can go through life just like, oh man, like this could have been a whole different route. I could have did this, I could have did that,
Yep.
and I tell people all the time, man, never, you only get one shot at this life, man. Never leave a stone unturned. You know what I mean? Like you have to go through this life just trying anything and everything, and don't be afraid to, take a leap of faith. One of my coworkers gave me a card at work, and it said, every day do something you're afraid to do. And I had to think about that. I'm like,
Yeah.
do something that you're afraid to do. Because a lot of times in life, you kind of put yourself in this box of just being comfortable and
Correct.
thinking that, okay, well, I'm gonna play it safe in life. I'm not gonna take the oh, okay. I thought you was about to get down for a minute. But
I mean, I thought the second thing was about to come out.
right. I was like, Dakota Static after now. But but just not leaving anything up to chance, just
Yeah,
doing the things that you need to do. Now, I will say sometimes, regretting something you did do can be just as big though,
yeah.
because have you ever had a moment, man, where you do something you instantly feel like, oh man, why
Yeah,
did
you
I
get
do
that
that?
conviction in your heart
Immediately
me-
you're like, oh man, why did I do that?
immediately.
It's one of the worst feelings
It
ever,
is.
man.
It really is.
You
100%.
know, just so yeah, I definitely agree. Just living life out and not leaving anything to chance, definitely. Also, real quick, is regret always a negative emotion? Could it be a positive emotion or whatever? Can you I feel like you can learn something from it in a positive way. It doesn't all because when you look at the word regret, a lot of people look at it as like something bad happened. You know what I mean?
Right,
It's always like this negative connotation with regret. And a lot of
right.
times I'm like, sometimes the things you go through can be for the greater good. So,
Absolutely.
not
I
all the time
agree.
you have to look at it as a negative. You can look at it as a positive if you're willing to learn from it. Um,
I think it's a
case in
mindset thing too.
yeah, case in point, I had to talk to one of my, I guess you could say, coworkers, and I kind of let that person know, like, hey, I'm gonna give you this information. I'm gonna let you know what you did. I don't want to say wrong, but just kind of like constructive criticism.
Yeah,
And I said, you can take that and you can go left or you can go right. Meaning you can be mature about it
yeah,
and you can take that knowledge and make yourself better and build yourself up and like take that knowledge that you have, because I told him, I was like, knowledge is power. Knowledge is key sometimes, depending on how you use it.
yeah.
If you use it,
100%.
if I give you this knowledge and you go and, oh well, I'm gonna be standoffish or I'm gonna be like this, I'm gonna be like that. I'm like, that's not the way you want to do it. You have the tools to better yourself. So take that knowledge and not look at something you did in a negative way, but take it as a stepping stone and a learning curve and be like, all right, well, I'm gonna go this route now. I appreciate you for doing that
Yeah,
for me. So not all the time regret can be a bad thing if you don't let it be. Sometimes regret can be a good thing, or things that happen. You don't have to feel like, you don't have to feel like you regret going through that, is what I'm saying. You know what I mean?
yeah. I feel like that comes with maturity too, and
Yeah.
age and wisdom. I think that when we're able to turn the negative emotions uh, of regret and despair and not let it drag us down into depression or bitterness, but instead it elevates us to a mindset of being thankful, um, to be optimistic about the future. That comes with maturity, I think, and I
Yeah.
think that for a lot of people, it's something that it comes in time. I don't think anybody ever, you know, sometimes like we get it, and I think we all have been there where we regret something and it just dragged us down. Like man, like I really regret that. Um, I mean, there were things in my life that I regret. Um, I regret doing. I regret growing up and listening to people tell me what they thought about me in terms of me sharing my dreams and my aspirations with them
Yeah.
and listening to these people, you know, whether they were people who were supposed to be friends, I can think about several things I remember being super hype about and telling people like, hey, this is what I want to do. And, having them laugh at me, talking me out of it. And then I think I got to an age when I got older, I said, I'm only getting older. And there's so many dreams that I let fall off or I let die because I let other people talk me out of it. I let other
Yeah.
people, you know, talking me out of it. I got a choice. I can live in regret that lived in yesterday. Like, man, I'll never be able to achieve those again. Or I can set my mind on the future and say, you know what, sky's the limit. And you know what, I don't care what nobody says. I'm going to achieve everything I put my mind to.
Yeah.
And if you tell me I can't do it, I'm using that as fuel,
It's fuel.
fire, octane, you name it, to get me to where I'm going.
Right.
And that came in time. That came, I'm talking like well in my late 30s for me to get that kind of mindset. So I think it's a maturity thing, man. I think it is something that we have to mature into, and it's a mindset that you have to develop, But we hear these motivational, speakers about, they talk about Michael Jordan and how he got cut and how he had perseverance, and but we really don't like it sounds easy to do. It sounds easy to not let people talk us out of what we believe,
Yeah.
but it can happen. It can happen to any of us, all of us.
Oh yeah.
But and that's okay. But the key is we have to just change our mindset and get up. And that's it. And say, I know what I believe, I know what God has put in my heart, I know, and like I always tell a lot of people, listen, if God gave you the vision, it's for you. There's
Yep.
a reason why he didn't give it to Tom, Dick, and Harry because it
Right.
ain't for them. It's for
Right.
you. If it
Exactly.
was for them, if it was for your whole gang, your whole entourage, your whole posse, your clique, whatever you want to call them, then God would have, all y'all would have came to the table the exact same time and said, look, I got a dream. But
Right.
God gave it to you. Why? Because you're the person that is going to be able to do it, not them.
Yeah.
That's the reason why in the Bible he gave Joseph the dream and not his brothers because he knew where it would take them. So I think that, I mean, there's just a lot that we can learn from regret, and I think it definitely comes to maturity.
Facts. Facts. I definitely agree. And a lot of times, like you said, some people don't reach that level of maturity until they get older. Like you said, in your 30s, man. Like that is very hard, especially when you're a teenager or
Yeah,
when you are in your 20s, man, and you're trying to like navigate this thing called life. You don't understand it. When you're young, you have a lot of pride. A lot of pride
hmm,
when you're a young,
a lot
young
of ego.
person. Yeah, a lot of
Feel
ego.
like you can take on
Y-
the world, like you're unstoppable.
Yeah, ain't nobody finna tell me nothing. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? So, and it's almost like, do young people even acknowledge their regrets? You know what I mean? Like you don't start regretting it until you hit like a certain like your 30s or maybe 25 but 30s and 40s where you're like, oh man, why did I go that route? Why did I do this? Why did I do that? Or you may think like, oh, I wish I would have done this, or I wish I would have went this route versus that route. That kind of goes back into like the other episode, peace.
yeah,
And that's
yeah,
just you just not having real peace with your route, but that's your route. You know what I mean? You have to kind of
absolutely.
embrace that. And I always tell people like, my upbringing, where I come from. There's a lot of things I wasn't in control of, and would I say I regret going through that? I used to, but I've reached a level of peace where I'm like, okay, I look at where I'm at now and I'm like, you know what? God sent me that route for a reason and it made me the man I am today. So I don't regret going through the
Yeah,
things that I went through as in my childhood. You know what
yeah.
I mean? But also just I was gonna ask you real quick, do you believe it's possible to truly live with no regrets? Or is some level of regret impossible?
So I've heard that a lot. I've heard people say, "Oh, live with no regrets," but I feel like it's healthy to have some kind of fear. Um, to have some kind of fear of taking a risk, I think is wisdom in a sense.
Yeah.
Um, Look, as a bishop once told me, and I don't know why he told me this, but every day I live, it's like what he said to me becomes more and more clear. And he looked at me and he said, "Son, don't don't question God, what God has for you." He said, "Don't worry." And then he walked off, and then he stopped, like mid walk. He turned around and walked back to me and said, in second thought, "It's good that you're questioning, because that shows your heart is in the right place."
Yeah.
He was a man of a few words, and those few words have been some of the most powerful few words in my life. And you know, um, yeah, his name is Bishop, Bishop Davis, and forever will love him and appreciate everything he's done. And that touched me in such a way, because man, every day I remember that saying, and it propels me and it helps me. It helps me when I overthink. It
Yeah.
helps me when I do blindly go into things and have no fear. So I think there has to be a healthy. I think there's a healthy amount of fear we have to have. I think too much of anything is not good for you.
Yeah. I agree.
So so to live completely, fearless in life is kind of, it's not necessarily, I think that it's not all the way healthy, because eventually you're going to run into something that is bigger than you, and you're not going to realize it, and it could do harm to you. But
But you can
I
also
do
use it to grow too.
that too. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, absolutely. I mean, but I think that there has to be a healthy, um, I think there has to be a healthy mix of living life with no regrets, and at the same time, um, in certain situations, not having regrets, and say, you know what, understanding that regrets, um, you're questioning, what God did in your life. And I think that when it comes to maturity, you be a lot of those regrets you have, you begin to scratch out, because you understand now why those things happen in your life. You begin to understand as you get older why I had to go through this, why I had this experience, why was I different from all my friends, why
Yeah.
was I the only one in the family to experience this. It taught you that those are not regrets. That was God separating you to be set apart for a divine mission or purpose. And I think that comes with maturity. You know what I mean? So I think you can live with no regrets, and at the same time, I think you do need a
To like
healthy
healthy
dose
mixture or
of,
balance.
yeah. Everything you need balance.
Yeah.
I think some things you gotta have some regret, because it lets you know that your heart still works. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Right.
Like, you just can't walk around just saying anything to anybody and not regretting and not having that moment like, "Ooh, I felt that. I shouldn't have said that."
Well, I mean,
Like,
that's what makes you human. You know what I mean?
that's it.
That's
It
what
makes us
makes
human.
that's what makes you human. To touch something hot and get burnt. If everything was perfect, how would we all grow? How would society grow? You know what I mean?
That's it.
There's
That,
there's nowhere around it.
yeah,
It's
that's it.
and it's almost like being a parent. As a parent, you want to save your child from harm. You want to save your child from danger and, this girl or that guy or, that movie or them lyrics. You want to just protect your child. Why? Because you've been through it all, you've seen it all, and you know exactly what it can do to your children. The hardest thing for a parent is to let your child fall. You want to catch them. You want to catch them. You want to pull their hand back. You want to tell them, no, you shouldn't go out tonight.
Yeah,
But at the end of the day, you kind of have to let your child grow and live their life just like you did. Because how are they going to maneuver this thing called life if you don't let them go out there and experience it? Now,
right.
there's some things you got to be like, hey, I wouldn't do that because that can end up being a way worse than, you know what I mean? But most things you kind of have to let your child go through as a parent. I was telling that to one of my coworkers, and I understand that it can be very, very hard, but the big thing about it is you hope that one day, sooner not later, they actually learn something from that,
Right.
that they get it.
Definitely.
We all, as like I say once again, as parents, once we get older, we're like, oh, mom, dad, remember when you used to tell me back in the day I need to do this X, Y, and Z and blah, blah, blah. And you be like, uh-huh, yeah, I remember. He's like, yeah, I get it now. I remember why you
Yeah,
told me that. And I'm like, oh, now you got it, huh? You in your 20s and now you finally figured it out. And that's music to a parent's ears, man, is to know that their child got it, to understand that, okay, you got what I was trying to teach you, you know, because,
right.
and so it's crazy, man.
Yeah, man. And I think it's because also like our kids are like a spitting image of us. So it's
Who's that?
like there are no our children, they're like an image of us in a
Oh,
sense.
yeah.
So it's like they carry our tendencies, our strengths, our weaknesses.
Yep.
Um, so you just kind of like, you ever look at your kids and go, man, where you get that from? Like, oh, I know where you get it from.
Yep.
I know where I know where he get it from. My bad. Like you know what I mean?
You
Like
look at you and look at them like, yeah, that's
I
that's
know where
me.
he get it from. So I
That's
mean,
mine.
it's just one of those things where you kind of like, all right, but I think you just gotta, I think part of that too is we just have to trust ourselves, trust God that that as long as we're doing our best to raise them and make them. I think the one of the worst things we can do as parents is definitely shelter them and not letting them hit the ground, like you said, because I feel like there is going to be a point in time where they have to get out in the real world.
Yeah.
And part of that survival is going to be basically like, hey, do you know what the ground feels like? Like my dad used to always, my dad was from Jamaica, so he used to always tell me like, you know, he used to walk bare feet in the backyard and outside like on the like in the driveway and stuff. And he used to be like, "You gotta learn to walk bare feet, man." He's like, "You rely on those socks and those shoes too much." He was like, "What happened if you got to run from your life and you ain't got your shoes? You ain't gonna be able to run because
You
because
putting your shoes on.
you gonna be stopping to put your shoes on." Like, and
Dang.
it's just like that raw kind of not that street knowledge he used to teach
Yeah.
me, like that street awareness. Like, you go into a restaurant, you got to look at your surroundings, look at all the exits, observe people. Don't be like everybody else and just be so blind. But
Yep.
you know, and even to this very day, my wife is like, we go out somewhere. She's like, babe, just chill. Can you just chill out? And I'm like, I'm sorry, I can't. It's embedded in me. Like I gotta, she's like, babe, why are you staring at that person? Like, I'm not staring at them. I'm like, I just watch you. You stare at them. Like you look at them up and down. And it's like, babe, I'm observing. That's all. Like,
Every
And
man
she's like,
does that.
do you know him though? Do you know him? And I'm like, no. Like,
He said,
it's like,
I'm protecting what's mine.
yeah, but you know what though? I tell you what though. How many women do you see on the street uh greet each other who don't know each other? Hardly,
Hardly.
hardly. But if you walking on this road, you pass five brothers, all five of them brothers. Hey, what's up, bro?
What's going on? What's
But
going
we
on?
observing. We
Yeah.
acknowledge because we're observing.
Yep.
That's what we do. We observe. We're taught to observe. And so before this brother even gets within 5 feet of us, we already observe. Okay, he cool. Oh wait, what's up, bro?
I'm
Yeah,
sitting
hey,
facing the door. All that.
yeah. Part of that. Part of that. Hey, what's up, bro? Because we trying to see how they say it back.
Just filling
And
you out, filling you out,
you know what I mean? It's like back in
really.
the day when they used to be riding on the horse with the knight armor on, and they lift up their little tin little shield, zzz,
Right.
and
Oh,
show them my
okay.
eye, zzz, close it back.
And that's
Like,
it.
you know, back in the day, that was a salute back in the day. That was a
Right,
head
right.
nod back in the day.
Now
Like,
we doing the head nod.
okay, you cool. Zzz.
He's a fool.
Okay. But yeah, man. It's just
Real
like,
quick. Um, so how does regret change over time? Do short term regret feel different from long term regret? Or do you think it's kind of the same?
I mean, so short term regret can be like, I regret I regret buying that item for like $500. It's probably gonna stick for you for like a couple weeks,
Yeah.
right? You probably gonna try and return it, and
Yeah.
then when you realize you can't return it, you just accept it. It is what
Yeah.
it is. You give it about a month or two, and that's it.
And
It's
that's
done.
it.
I think when it comes to long term regrets, like let's go there. Um,
Oh,
a family member dying and not being able to talk to them and thinking about what was the last conversation we had.
yeah.
Those are regrets that can haunt you forever. And those are regrets that can beat you up, that can really alter you as a person if you let it. But those are regrets that I'm not you those are regrets you have to forcefully take control of and say, you know what, I can't let you ruin my life. Because if you let them and you do not take control, they will they'll make you a shell of yourself. You,
Mm,
you will never be the same. That's why if you look at certain people who have experienced death, if you notice they're a shell of themselves,
yeah.
it's like they're completely different. It's because there's some regret that has basically just swallowed them up, has taken control over them, and they haven't been able to come out of it. And I know what that's like. I mean, I've dealt with that. But at some point, you got to wake up and say, you know what? I can't let this control my life. I got to move forward.
Yeah.
I can't waste my life away because this person, even though I love them, and you know, they wouldn't want me to sit here and waste my life on that. They would want me to shoot for the stars and still keep living and keep striving and keep achieving dreams that they weren't able to achieve. you
Right.
know so I think that a lot of times, like, we gotta, like, there's certain regret, long-term regret, and I mean, it doesn't necessarily have to come from death, but it can come from a lot of different things. You
Oh
just
yeah.
gotta, like,
Job,
childhood,
relationships,
yeah,
childhood.
relationships. You you gotta put your foot down and say, you no longer will be a stronghold in my life. I'm taking control of my life. I'm moving forward, and I'm gonna dictate the rest of my life is gonna be. Some
Yeah.
people, they let these regrets dictate how their next relationship will be, um, how the next decision they make, big decision in life will be, all that kind of stuff. And
Man.
you can't let you gotta at some point you gotta put your foot down and said, no, you will not hold me in shackles any longer.
Man,
I'm taking back my life and I'm gonna live it the way I know God has given me the strength to live.
you've been in a relationship for so long and hated it. Then you come out of it and you don't even know who you are.
Yeah,
And then
yeah.
the next man either paying for what the last man did, or you're like, what do I do?
Cycle of pain, I call it. You
Really?
know, the
That's
cycle of
crazy.
pain. Think about it. Think about it. You had a bad relationship, so you said, all right, I'm a the next girl I'm gonna date.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do what I want. I'm gonna be a thug. I'm gonna cheat. I'm gonna do all this. You hurt her. Now she get hurt. What's she gonna do? Oh,
She gonna
next
hurt.
guy, I ain't gonna treat serious. This is real. This is
Vicious
real.
cycle.
I worked when I used to work. I worked at this call center a while back,
Yeah.
and this girl was sitting there talking with one of her friends, and she was like, I heard her. She was just like, oh, she was like, she was talking about this new guy that she went on a date with, and she's like, oh, but he too nice, girl. He too nice. And the other girl was like, well, why you treat him like that? I thought that's what you want, a nice guy. And she was like, nah, the last guy screwed me over, so I'm gonna screw him over too. She was, I'm done playing game because I got hurt. He gonna get hurt too. And I'm sitting on my desk, and I turned around and I said, so you gonna continue the cycle? And she's like, what you mean, Nate? And I'm like, so you got screwed over, so you gonna screw him over. And
That's
he gonna
cold.
screw over another girl. And then that girl gonna screw over another guy. And then you know what's gonna happen? Eventually, enough people are gonna get screwed up to when you want a good guy, you're gonna run into a guy who's ready to screw over the next girl. And lo and behold, it's a full circle moment.
Yep.
You're
Yep.
only getting back what you put in there.
What you put in there.
And
Yep.
she was
That's
just
it.
like, she was shocked. She was like, I can't believe you just talked to me like that. And I'm like, I'm trying to help you out. I'm trying to
Yeah.
help you out. You got a nice guy, and you over here trying to hurt dude, you over here trying to make him hurt because the last guy made you hurt. Don't do that.
Right.
Like, don't continue the cycle because you only reap what you sow. I said you may have fun with it now, but guess what? You're gonna be hurting later when you meet a guy who you really head over heels in love with, and he gonna want to hurt you
So how does
because all he knows is hurt.
how does that
You know,
person how does that person live, like, how do they move forward?
forgiveness,
That's the only.
forgiveness.
Yeah.
We have to. You have forgiveness is the key to a lot of things in life. You have to forgive yourself, forgive that person, and you have to forgive them and say, you know what, I forgive you, and I forgive myself. Because sometimes we get mad at ourselves that man, you should have left a long time ago. You know, you got that friend who's like, you stupid, because you stayed with him for over how many years? You stayed, you know what I mean? They all in the ear and all like that.
Yeah, and then they say,
Or
"Oh,
you got,
well, it's
yeah,
easy for you to say because you ain't in a relationship."
right. But misery loves company, so look at that. You
That's true
know,
too.
and you know what I mean? Or you got the homeboys like, hey man, I told you a long time ago she was crazy, bro, but you didn't want to listen. So hey man, you get what you hey, that's what you wanted though. So now you're gonna live with it. You know what I mean? Like, but this is it. you know, it's I mean, I ain't gonna lie to you. I'm probably one of those dudes who said that to some friends I know. I ain't gonna lie, but listen, forgiveness is a gateway to a lot of things.
Yeah.
Forgiveness is that, and you I think, and that's a thing, something that comes with maturity is you gotta forgive yourself. Number one, um, and forgive that person. No, you don't deserve that. No, this is not forever. No, you are not those things that they said about you. You
Yeah.
are worth more. There is someone out there who is worthy of
Yeah.
your love,
Yep.
who's worthy of all of you. Yes, there is somebody out there who will treat you like you are the only, person on this planet. You know, you have to resonate with those feelings and move forward with it. But I think that a lot of people we get so sucked into that hurt that it's just like, oh, I'm never gonna find anybody because they're all like that.
And
You
long,
know,
depending on how long they've been together, it's probably all they know.
yeah,
I've
exactly.
I've I've seen or have heard of people who've been with somebody for so long, and then once they get out on their own, they just don't know how to react, and they look at
That's
their
true.
past relationship and say, "Was it all for nothing?" You know, you live with this. I regret being in this relationship for that long, or being
So
in
I
this
tell you,
job for that long. You're like, you dealt with that for how long? Well, why didn't you just leave? And it's like, well, it's not that easy. You know,
what do you think the average age is that people get married?
the average age
Yeah,
now, or
maybe we got to grok it, but yeah, what's the average age? I think it's like 20
I would
something.
say
It's a
28,
low
like 28, 27.
20, 27. I'm gonna grok real quick.
Yeah, I would
I'm I'm
say I
I'm
would
gonna
say
see it.
about 20, 27, 28. Nowadays, it's very hard to determine. I don't even know if people are even doing it, but I would say probably about 10, 15 years ago, it was probably about 25, 26, 27, something like that. But I will say, I think it's more. I mean, I'm put out there. I don't know if we getting married like that.
Mm, that's a whole other
That's a whole
thing
other
to learn.
conversation. But are we getting married
So
like
for
that?
men, it says the average age for men is like 30. For women,
I
it's
figured.
28. So it's about what you said.
Yeah, that's what I figured.
Um,
About 20, 27, 28.
so and apparently in Florida, the average is about 30. Yeah, about 28, between 28 and 30.
That's what I
So
figured. Because every
so
woman
it's
wants to
not
be
too
married
bad.
before she's 30 years old.
It's not. So that's not too bad. And I guess the reason why I bring that up is because me, I didn't get married for like my like late 30s. Like,
I've been married
um,
since I was 20.
yeah. See, I didn't get married till about then. So for me, I got most people were like surprised, like, "Dang, you getting married? Like, ain't you a little old? Like, man, you kids gonna be you gonna be old when your kids are younger. You know what I mean?" And
Yeah.
I'm just, but you know what? But I took my time. I waited. I didn't let relationships define me. I didn't let the fact that, oh, there was a certain type of woman I was looking for, and I couldn't find her out there. I didn't let that determine the future. I stayed praying to God and saying, Lord, I know she's out there. And you know what? Until she comes, I'm just going to focus on the other stuff that I got going on. And when she comes, guess what? Fine, I'll be ready. I
Yeah.
looked at it as in, you haven't brought her to me yet because I'm not ready to receive her yet.
Mm.
And I feel like when it comes to relationships with that, a lot of times we want things that maybe we're not ready to receive, and
Hmm.
we're not willing to mature in order to receive it.
Yeah.
And I think so. I think that a lot of that is caught up into it. And I know that this conversation is kind of taking a spun here, but nevertheless, it's good. It's
Well,
good.
it coincides with
It,
regret because depending on
it
how
does.
you use that, I definitely agree with what you're saying. You know, if you're not ready in that, I mean, it can go to like financial, it can
Yes,
go to job, relationship, whatever. If you're blessed with $1 million, but you don't have the mindset to know how to manage it,
you're gonna regret.
then you're just gonna be a broke millionaire, basically.
And you're
You
gonna
know,
regret
yeah, you're gonna regret it. You're gonna be like, oh man. Or
hard.
if you're a 21-year-old man living in Florida and God blesses you with the woman of your dreams, and then you F it off, there's your regret. Why? Because you wasn't mature enough to know how to hold one woman down or know how to take care of her or, you know, all of the above. So I definitely understand when it comes to being patient, being mature, growing up and maturing so you can take on those responsibilities. And sometimes your blessing has to be held back a little bit so you can do what you need to do. That way, when you receive that blessing, you'll be ready for it.
Yeah. Ultimately, regret and defeat, it helps us to. It's an agent of maturing us.
Hmm.
It helps us to mature. So that regret, it teaches us a lesson. That lesson is always going to start with the words next time or from now on. You know, the reason why we word it like that is because we know the pain. We know that we'll get in that situation again,
Yeah.
and that regret has taught us something. The next
Right.
relationship, from now on, I will treat my loved ones this way who are still alive. The next job I get, the next large sum of money I get, um, the next meal I'm gonna eat. You see what I'm saying? Like
Yep.
it teaches us. It really. I mean, hey, we can take it. We can take it as you eating some food that's questionable in the fridge, and you were like, I think it's still good. Yep. Well, that's a big lesson of regret right there, because hey, I guarantee you later on you're gonna be like, next time I'm just
Next
gonna
time.
throw it out.
Right. Right.
I ain't taking no chances next
But
time.
what's the blessing into that? There will be a next time.
There's
Because
always a next
there's
time.
always gonna be a next time.
Always a next time.
So yeah, you gotta take that next time on. Shoot.
Hey,
Um,
my mom always says if you don't pass this lesson that God's teaching you here, you're gonna take the test over and over until you pass
until you pass it. But hope it's some retries.
it.
uh if regret is like a compass pointing to what truly matters to us, how can we use it to live more intentionally instead of getting stuck in the past?
Mm, that that right there, I think that the science of it is, again, it goes down to the mindset. I think you have to intentionally want to, we talk a lot on the show about that cycle of insanity, doing the same thing over and over and
Expecting a
hoping
different
for
result.
different results but getting the same results.
Yeah.
I think that regret sometimes, if we're not careful, it can put us into a cycle of insanity because we're not learning the valuable lesson. But when we take every regret with a lesson, with a grain of salt, and again, it can be simple as that food was questionable. I shouldn't have ate it. Or, you know, dang, I shouldn't have spent money on this thing right here. I should have waited. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like it comes down to simple things that later on teach us lessons. And I think that when we learn to go with our gut feeling and we learn to be obedient to that small voice inside that's guiding us and telling us the way that we should go, don't buy that, don't eat that, don't go here tonight, don't sit at this table. Uh I don't think you should go hang out with this person tonight. When
Yeah.
we listen to those voices, 9 times out of ten, we find ourselves in a better situation than doing it, and then we realize, oh man, I should have listened to that small voice. Something told me to stay inside and just chill and watch the game tonight, but I decided to go on the basketball court, and now look, I'm injured.
Yeah, but not everybody listen to that small voice. What do you
That's what I'm
say to
saying.
those repeat offenders? I mean, them
Event,
people that is,
you
like
just
I say, you regret doing something. Hey, I stole a Snickers bar out the store. Hey, I shouldn't have did that. And next week you in there for Twix. Like, what do you say to that person that they just ain't getting it? Like, because eventually you gonna go from getting a slap on the wrist to what happens is something as small as you stole a Snickers turn and you stole a watch, then you stole money, and you know what I mean? So it's one of those things where you're like, when does the light bulb hit for you to
I think
where you're not so far deep?
I think this goes back to the last question you asked me about: is there a such thing with living life with no regrets? And this just came to my mind literally. Living life with no regrets is living reckless. But to someone who lives a reckless lifestyle, there's an underlining reason why they're living reckless.
Yeah.
So
Sorry.
the answer that I would say is why are you living reckless? What is the real root of the issue? Because clearly your decisions are being prompted from a bigger issue.
Yeah.
There's something bigger in the background that these decisions that we're making, these reckless decisions that we're making, and we're not learning from the regret. We're not learning from our failures. So obviously we're trying to feed a void that is unfeedable. We're we're like the woman at the well who who was asking Jesus, like, you know, like, hey, give me that water so I may never thirst again. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like it's we what is that underlying thing? What are we trying to what void do we have in our life? Whether it's the loss of a loved one, whether it's loneliness, or whether it's something that stems from our childhood. What is that underlining
Just getting to the root of the
thing
problem.
that is a root of the issue, that caused us to live reckless? Because, that's what that is. When you're ignoring your conscience and you just want to live carefree, that's a reckless, like, why live? God gave us a conscience for a reason. We have a conscience for a reason.
Right.
It's there to guide us, essentially. So when we block that out and we just live however we want to live, it's like, it's like what a lot of people do, and that's why they have GTA. You can live reckless in GTA all you want to. You know what I mean? You
Well, some of them are taking that seriously and moving GTA into the real world.
you see what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying? So, and that's just a thing, and that's even That's a bigger cause of it, and that's why GTA is like one of the most played games. Why? Because it enables people to live reckless. That
Okay,
open
that's
world,
secretly what people wish they could do. I mean,
right?
when you think of a movie called The Purge,
Oh Jesus! Yeah,
where like who think of that concept for 24 hours, all crime is legal. Now, if you really and they really was thinking about doing that for real in America, and it's like people would literally do that, I believe, if they had the
yep.
chance.
From all walks of life, they would.
They're doing it illegally, so if you let me do it legally, man,
Ain't no
yeah,
telling. Ain't
ain't
no
no
telling.
telling what the
You have. Let me tell you something. You
see them
have
true
some
colors.
evil. You'd have some evil people surface in this world that is better kept in the darkness.
Yeah,
That's all I say.
yeah, I definitely get you.
There's some things I would rather not know about, because I believe that they would hinder the way that we live.
You never know.
If
You
we
be my
knew, if
neighbor.
we right, you know what I'm saying? All those things. So, I mean, but case in point, man, it's just like there's a bigger root issue to living that life with being reckless and no regrets. And I understand what the motivational speakers are trying to say. They're talking to the people who are constantly in their head. They're overthinkers. They want them to release that block. They want them to remove that safety switch, if you will,
Yeah,
that caps that potential to where they can release it and they can really achieve their dreams. But I
yeah,
feel like it's not just uncapping that, right? It's not just unlocking that potential, but it's teaching them how to deal with it's teaching them how to deal with failure and teaching them how to deal with regret. That is a real superpower.
yeah,
If we the idea we're all going to be touched by something in this world. Learning how to get up from it is a real superpower.
yeah.
Learning how to deal with it, learning how to cope with it positively, learning
Facts,
how to overcome it, that's a superpower.
facts. Anybody can get knocked down.
Yeah, anybody gets knocked down. The hardest of the hardest, the strongest of the hardest. But but we teach like young people like that. Oh, like you can be invincible and nobody can touch you. The movies portray it, the TV shows portray it, that you
Yep,
can be untouchable in this world.
that's not real life.
And that's not real life. That isn't the thing is you will get touched with something in this world, and it's not. Hey, it's like the boy Rocky said in that movie. You got to be willing to take the hits, and you got to be willing. You got to know how to. You got to know how to hit back.
Right.
That's it.
Oh, Rocky. I seen
Hey
Rocky a
man,
couple weeks ago.
hey,
Yeah.
that motivational thing was kind of when he was in there. You got to be willing to take the hits.
You know,
You know.
right. Oh man. Yeah, this is good stuff, man. Excuse me, I'm coming down with the what you call them. Might take some medicine in a minute.
Nah,
But
doing good,
huh.
good, brother. I said you're doing good, brother.
Hey, I appreciate it. Bro, I'm over here breathing all heavy because I can't breathe out my nose. I think it's my left or right now. I can't even remember
Oh man,
which one it
I've been,
is.
I've been there. You're gonna be good, man. We're praying for you, bro. We're
Nah, I
praying for
appreciate
you.
it. I appreciate it. Yeah, we about 50 in. So which
Yeah, I think this is good. I think we covered it, man. I think we properly decoded regret. Um, I think this is one of those subjects that's cut and dry.
yeah,
And to anybody out there who struggles with regret, who whether it's long term regret or short term regret, listen, man, you got to take the punches, and it's just like in a boxing match, right? Life life is a fight. That's why Paul said, I fought the good fight. I finished the race.
yeah,
You got to be prepared to know that this is a fight. You're gonna get tagged. You're gonna get hit in the face. You're gonna get hit in the ribs. You're gonna get hit in the mouth.
yeah,
It's gonna draw some blood. It's gonna cut you. You're gonna walk away with probably swollen parts. That's just it's part of the fight. That's just what it is. let your focus be on finishing strong, finishing the fight. And once you keep getting up, you got to know that that in itself, it demoralizes your enemy, because your enemy has said, yo, I have thrown everything at him and he keeps getting back up, or she keeps getting back up.
Yeah.
What more can I throw at him?
Keep it coming.
You gotta keep getting up. You cannot let the regrets of course you're gonna look back and be like, dang man, first and second round, man, if only I would have paced myself, would have been set up better for third round. You're gonna have that regret.
Yeah.
But guess what? First and second round is over with. Forget that. It's in the books. You can only move forward and worry about the round you're in now and the next round. And guess what? You can recover.
Yep.
You can't recover just because that scorecard he got all tens and you got a 7 or a 6 or a 5. That don't mean that you can't knock him out in the third and get the victory.
Yep.
But it's mindset, and that's just it. You gotta believe. You gotta believe in yourself, and you gotta know that this is your fight. This is your life. You have to pace yourself. Forget about the people in the audience, what they're saying, because everybody has an opinion. But you know what? It's your life. You're the one who has the gloves on. You're the person in this fight, not them. So you have all the tools. The only person you need to worry about is a cut man in your corner.
Yes,
That's
sir.
God, and that's God. And he's gonna guide you if you listen to him. If you ignore him, then
Might
I
get
mean,
knocked out.
yeah, that's it. You're gonna knock out.
Down goes Frazier.
But listen to your cut man. Listen to your coach. He's
Yeah.
there for a reason. Those still voices that you have, they're for a reason.
Yeah.
It's to guide you and to tell you how to prepare for every round. So you don't get hit. Can't avoid it. But if you get hit, swing some back.
Right.
Every time you get hit, throw a punch back. If you get knocked down, get up.
Get up.
That's it.
I like that.
That's
I
all I
like
got
that.
for you today.
I like that. I like that. My
Yeah,
man
I'll box you
closing out
back
the
like that.
show. Okay. Okay.
No,
Let's see some of
no.
your old tapes, man. I'm gonna see some of your old tapes. Rumble in the jungle. Rumble,
I
young
mean,
man.
I wouldn't
Rumble.
know Mike Tyson or nothing like that, but you know.
Okay. I mean, ain't nothing wrong with it. What you want to know? He's like, yeah, I'm done. I'm done. I got nothing. I got nothing.
0-0.
Oh, hey, perfect record. Perfect record.
Yep.
Nah, this is good, man. This is good. Well, everyone, this is Decoding the Static. I am your host, X. That's my co-host, Nate. And this is episode 7, Regret. Any final words?
And do all things. Through Christ who strengthens us. Let's
Yes,
go.
sir. Peace.